Alright, so my portion of this project is to discuss what the researchers and scholars argue for or against this event. This topic obviously is very controversial, in the sense that, why does this keep happening and why isn't anything being done about it? Mental illness is a big topic when a mass shooting happens, that always seems to be the case with a shooter, and we want to know, why do they keep getting guns? How is it so easy for them to purchase a gun? So mass shootings are for the most part an American phenomenon, the foundation definition being that there's a minimum of 4 victims shot. That's not including the killer. We had a group discussion about if this is just an American thing that's happening where, these mass shootings happen and nothing's being done. So I found an example here in Britain quite a bit ago, where a mass shooting happened, killing 16 people, and there was an act passed within that next year to outlaw semi-automatic weapons and limited sales of types of shotguns. I believe it was about 10 years later, there was another mass shooting of 16 children and a teacher, and that was with a handgun. So more restrictions were put into place. And then within that, the same year, almost all handguns were restricted for purchase. So tens of thousands of guns were collected from owners, and they were given the market value for the weapons. America's pervasive gun culture, it stems in part from its colonial history, revolutionary roots, frontier expansion, and the Second Amendment, which states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. When a mass shooting happens, it seems that mental illness plays a big part in why the shooter did it. But scholars believe that disorders such as depression, anxiety, and attention deficit disorders, they really have no correlation with the violence whatsoever. The vast majority of people diagnosed with these psychiatric disorders don't commit violent acts. It says only about 4% do. It's argued that mass shootings denote rare acts of violence that have little or predictive preventative validity in relation to the bigger picture of many of thousands of gun violence cases or gun suicide. Okay, and then 2 stances here that I have. So a background check stance. A lot of people feel that, better background checks should be given for just the universal support of background checks. Background checks or actually a nationwide ban on assault weapons. A period of waiting before gun sales or guns are purchased. People believe that, background checks are going to prevent criminals and other dangerous people from getting guns. But the cons here, essentially people just don't want their information to be kept in a database, names, addresses, mental health history, criminal records, etc. The ACLU worries that it infringes on gun owners' right to privacy, basically. So unfortunately, I don't see anything happening soon about the gun laws in the U.S. People feel that it's taking away their freedoms and a way to protect themselves should they ever need it. In Colorado, it is an open state, or an open carry state, but we do have some exceptions, to people with felons and machine guns. No one can possess those, short shotguns or short rifles. Colorado has no express laws about the right to openly carry a firearm, but the right to possess a gun is generally protected under the Article 2, Section 3 of the Colorado Constitution. And as long as pro-gun advocates are voicing their rights under the Constitution to own whatever kind of firearm they wish, I personally feel we're just going to be kind of stuck in this vicious cycle of tragedies like what happened at the Boulder King Supers happening people raising the question of what can be done so this doesn't happen in the future, and nothing being done. So unless people are actually willing to make a change to gun rights, gun reform, I personally don't feel anything's going to happen.